to see where they're going with the policy right now.
Now go ahead and push OK, because I'm going to start recording this just in case somehow there's a little problem with YouTube rendering the video. I am recording, and Richard made a comment that he can't hear. I think he's going to come back on. So that was great about which characters are your favorite. I loved young Spencer. He was so precocious. I would like to see him coming back as another character, because now he is a teen. He just did not meet the aging ramp up, that they do with soaps. But I really love that little actor. Now, we talked about your favorite male. Did you talk about your favorite female? Or if you
I'm loving what they're doing with Trina's character. I'm really loving it.
Okay, all right. I like Trina as well. Now let's talk a little bit about your favorite couple, current. Give me your favorite current couple, and then we're going to go back to your favorite maybe couple in the past.
Oh, well, okay. So right now I'm really loving the Trina and Spencer, the Sprina couple. But in the past, it was Journey for me. Courtney, it was actually my first episode that I watched was Courtney and Jason kissing in the rain. And I just love their romance. I love the foursome that Sunny, Jason, Carly, which is the previous actress, or the second to last previous actress, now plays Kim Navarro, I think. And
Tamara Brock.
Yes. So I love that pairing. And I believe her name is Alicia that played Courtney. So yeah, I love that group, that little foursome that was going on, and it kind of like just the romance and everything that went with it, the drama, the craziness. Yeah.
That I like. Now let's go to the past. Back in that is past. You did that's past.
Oh, for future, I'm loving Sprina, but for in the past, it was the Journey relationship between Jason and Courtney.
And now, what do you like about the GH Daily recaps? What I'm doing here? What do you like? What would you like to see me, add to, if I could?
I love your commentary on the theories that people have about some of the storylines. When you do impersonations, I think that's really funny. Your facial expressions, so that really made me laugh. So especially after the long day of work, I'm a reporter for Southeast Queens, which is a very large section of Queens in New York. So after a long day, I just want to be watch. I record the show, so I watch it back, and then I watch the review and see what other people's takes are on it. So when I listen to you read the comments, so I'm seeing, sometimes I hear stuff that I didn't think about in terms of theories, and other times I'm I'm kind of gelling, we're some of us, you or some of the commenters are on the same page with me on terms of how we feel about different storylines. I feel I love the show, but I feel some of the storylines are lacking a sense of urgency or stakes sometimes. So seeing that I'm not the only one that's feeling that way, or how things are panning out. I really liked the initial start of the Brooklyn Chase relationship, but I feel because of a lack of urgency in putting the relationship together, I felt they waited too long to couple them, and then they broke them up so quickly with that as kind of lessens the impact. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the only one that's seeing that. So whenever I see people have the same feelings about certain stuff, really cool. I really think that's cool, just seeing how people are taking it in.
To me, the problem with the Brooke and Chase pairing, the Brooklyn, is when they put them together was because of the baby. And they actually got to the point to where they had their first kiss, I think is when they still were dealing with that baby, but they did not allow that storyline to progress. They really didn't.
Yeah, they didn't give them time to just be a couple before they jumped into this whole Brooklyn and the band, not the band, but the Chase's musical career, or Brooklyn trying to juggle both. I would have liked to see that, her trying to be a marketing director as well as working as a music manager. Then there's a whole sex storyline, which I feel that story should be led by Brooklyn. I don't know why it's being led by Chase. I find that to be awkward. And then the whole Chase getting back on the force thing, I wish they gave us a moment of just levity where we just breathe and just enjoy them as a couple first before jumping back
Mhm.
into those storylines. And if we were going to jump back into the storylines, it should have been from Brooklyn's perspective more so than Chase. Because I feel like if they're trying to go for a Me Too story, and Me Too has mostly been about what women in the entertainment
Yes.
industry have been dealing with in terms of sexual harassment, I would have liked to have seen it more from her perspective. Like, oh, should I more of her juggling with the idea of getting her music rights back and letting another woman in the and her letting another woman being potentially sexually harassed. I wish we saw more time with her dealing with that. And I sometimes I feel like they make her character a little stupid, even though in the past they portrayed her as being very sharp and
Yes.
very witted. Like she didn't. I don't think she even looked at the contract, and that's the whole reason why she even ended up in that position in the first place. So that really bothered me that
Yeah.
she would sign another contract without reading it, just because just taking the guy who victimized her. She was taking his word that they're gonna like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you back your music rights and here you go. Just don't say anything about me. But
And
I do love
yeah.
that I forget who she's had a conversation with. I think it might have been Maxie, how they brought up a real law where they're gonna be where you can get out of an NDA in terms of certain aspects, as long as it doesn't have to do with business, where you can speak on sexual harassment. So I do love that they highlighted that, because not a lot of people know about that law. So in some ways, I feel like, okay, that aspect of it, I really love how it's working, how they might
Yeah.
potentially deal with it. I'm just hoping they will execute it properly.
Now I want to cut to Richard. Richard, can you hear us now? Okay, now can you unmute your mic because it's muted, because now we can't hear you. You've got your mic. There you go. Can you say something?
Okay. Hello.
Hello, hello. We can hear you. Welcome, welcome. We have also Nakisha. She is on the live chat. She's at work. She's listening in and
Yes.
she's saying congratulations. But I want to go to you, Richard. And then NK Rose, remind me to go back to the Brooklyn, because I've got some comments on how they're going with that. But Richard, let's get with your questions. Thank you so much for saying yes and joining us. Richard comments all the time. Now, how long have you been watching General Hospital?
Oh, it's been a long time, but not consistently. I've been on and off, but I go back to when Edward and Lila Quartermain times from back then.
So now that leads me to, who's your favorite characters? I want to say now and then. Who's your favorite male character now and then female character back in the day and now? Who are they?
Okay, back in the day, Jason, of course, Jason Morgan. From when he lost his memory and he got it back, and then he became the enforcer for Sonny all the way through. Jason, male character. Female, I'm kind of conflicted because there's a Monica, of course, is one. Monica Quartermain. Right now, I'm a Nina fan.
Wait a minute, Nina.
Yes.
Why are you a Nina fan?
I'm gonna explain. I think, regardless of what anybody says, she changed Sonny's life with that whole Nixon Falls experience. Whether it's good or bad, but I think it was good. Sonny's a different mobster now. He's not the same Sonny from when he was younger.
So you like this Sonny versus the old Sonny? Because see, I like the old Sonny better.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
You know, okay, so look, you like Nina. Now, who is your favorite couple? Back then, who was your favorite old-time couple? And then who's your favorite couple now?
Alan and Monica Quartermain back then. Now, it's I like Nina and Sonny, but I don't know.
They don't have a power. They do not have a powerful couple right now that we feel we can really just lock our arms into.
I agree.
Because I'm going to tell you, back in the day, I loved Sonny and Carly, both versions. Tamara Braun, Carly, she cried. That girl could cry all day long. on the camera. Lord, right? But I like Laura Wright. When she came in, she was so different. It took a minute for me to adjust to her, but then I adjusted to her. Now, believe it or not, my favorite couple was not, I liked Sonny and Carly, but I liked Sam and Jason more than I liked Sonny and Carly.
I can tell you that. Okay.
There was this pull between Jason and Sam. And what I liked about Sam had her leather jacket on. She was his ride or die.
Yes. Yes,
she was his ride or die girl. And they, to me, were the Bonnie and Clyde, right?
Yeah.
Sam did evolve with motherhood, and I was okay with that. I was okay with her because remember, Sam had a gun. Sam was, let me tell you something.
Soldier,
she was,
soldier.
She was a soldier girl. But after she became a mother, and now she's realizing, you know what? I'm not Carly. I can't let my kids get kidnapped. You know, oh my God, that reminds me. You want to know what scene impacts me the most to this day? Was, remember when AJ had Michael kidnapped? Was that the same time? Remember when Jason came into the church and was shooting him? He was going berserk with that gun scene in the church. But I don't know, am I mixing that up? Was that to save Michael at that point or what? But that scene impacted me with Jason in the church. But yeah, Jason and Sam were my favorite then. Right now, they don't have strong enough favorites for me. Who I think is cute is Valentine and Anna. I think they're cute. Back in the day, Robin and Patrick, because what I liked about it is they navigated an HIV storyline into, you're getting into a relationship with somebody and you're HIV positive and he knows this.
And the pregnancy.
Yeah, and then she got pregnant. They dealt with the reality of, wait a minute. That means protection failed at some point. And remember, Patrick had to get tested and he came back negative. And then they even retested him like 6 months later. They did that storyline right, you know. Now, how she had the second child, maybe that was in vitro, I don't know. But they told a really good storyline with Patrick and Robin. I really like them. And let's say, back to you, Richard. What do you like about the Daily Recap channel?
I like how you express yourself, of course, with your movements and everything. I love that. And your commentary is great. It's great.
You know, it's interesting. And I'm going to tell you how the Daily Recaps came about. Is I have always wanted to talk about my soaps to friends. I used to work on a job back in the 90s at a hospital, and my friend that I would have lunch with, she watched soaps, you know, and my grandmother's the one that got me into General Hospital when it was black and white, you know, and we would just talk about the storylines, and, you know, she loved Young and the Restless too. That's kind of how I got a little peeked into Young and the Restless, but she also watched General Hospital, and it was so much fun. People would be at tables next to us hearing us talking about who's sleeping with who and how could he do that, and they're looking like, oh my God, whose business are they telling? You know, that was hilarious. So I always wanted to talk about the soaps. And I had told my daughter, you know, my daughter, she'll be 33 this year. She was never into soaps like I was into soaps. Yes, my oldest son, who's 41, he would be there watching them with me, but then he kind of broke away when he got older because, you know, sometimes the stigmatisms of males liking soaps, they don't want it to get out.
Oh, can I jump in?
Yes.
I feel like guys like General Hospital because of the action elements in it. Because that's what I loved about it too. Because I'm like, I always watch action movies with my brother. And I feel like, well, other soaps relied on bringing back people from the dead. there was this like time in the early 2000s, where General Hospital like always had this big action thing going on during sweeps, like the hospital burning, or the hotel catching on
Yes,
fire,
yes.
or there was some random infectious disease, and Robin would always like, work night and day trying to come up with a cure for it or something like that. And that's what I think makes General Hospital stand out. Like when they had, or the train
Yes.
wreck that they had, where I
Yes.
think Alexis gave birth. So I think it's the action stuff that they've done in the past that really made it stood out from the other soaps, and why it had a little bit more longevity than the other ABC soaps. We're kind of like relied on tropes
Yeah.
a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah. So what about you? Why, as a male, why do you like GH?
She basically, NK said it pretty much, the mobster stuff with Sonny and Jason and
Yeah.
all that action, a lot of action.
Now, you brought up that train wreck. That was a huge, and that cost them a lot of money to set that up. Now, do you remember who was involved or on that train? And that's the first time we saw her playing this person, and she didn't last.
The new Carly.
The new Carly, I did not like that Carly. That was not Laura.
Like a redheaded Carly, like
and she was always wanting to fight with everybody. She was
I mean, you know what? I think she was good for that. Oh, I didn't like the character or that version of the character, but I think she played crazy good, because that was the crazy Carly.
That was crazy.
Always ended up back in the institution.
Yes.
I don't remember what landed her in the institution. Either she got shot in the head or something. I don't remember what led up to it, but I know this was the version of her that always needed mental health.
And remember what car she ran in front of?
What car did she run?
Jax had Elizabeth in the car taking her to her doctor's appointment. Remember, Elizabeth was their surrogate?
Oh, yes. Courtney, surrogate for Courtney. And that's how Courtney ended up having an affair.
Yes.
Ridiculous, because the baby was lost.
But Jax just glommed onto Elizabeth. And Courtney didn't exist. And here he paid more attention. Like, he wanted to go to every doctor's appointment. He wanted to do all of this. And here Courtney's feeling inadequate, not being able to have a child with him. And now you're telling me you on the phone saying, hey, is the baby kicking?
I'm surprised this hasn't been brought up, because there was a scene last week where Trina and Spencer like talking about Trina's finding out that her dad might not be her dad, but no one mentions that there was a time where no one knew who Spencer's real father was. Right. I forgot for how long Jax and Carly were taking care of Spencer, because there's another thing that I find funny that no one mentions. Everybody's like, oh, Carly knew about Spencer. She didn't know in the beginning that Spencer was not Jax's child. She thought she was helping to raise her best friend's kid. But other than that, like, the other part I find is like no one mentions, I'm not sure if Spencer knows either, but he was raised by an entire different family for like, I think almost going on 6 months, first 6 months of his life, maybe a year.
Yeah. And
people blame Carly for that, just like they blame Carly for the whole Nell thing. And I'm like, she had no idea what happened about Nell's kidney.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I don't know.
Look, the truth be told, none of us knew about Nell's kidney, because they wrote that in later. They changed the story on us, right? They changed the story. Now, Richard, let's get back to you. You like the way that I talk about it. And then I kind of got into how I started doing daily recaps.
Yes.
I'm a traditional business owner, owned corporations, but COVID kind of changed the game. And I subsequently, end of 2020, I shut down 2 of them, right? And I only have 1 left. I still have that one. But I was telling my daughter, you know what? Because I have 4 adult children. I said, I have to reinvent myself. And a lot of people during COVID had to reinvent themselves. So I developed a business model that I launched called Reinventing 60, right? How do you reinvent yourself at 60? Well, one part of it is, at this age, I have to do what I like. And then I decided not to truly pursue that business model, because I really found that a lot of people within themselves feel it's impossible to reinvent themselves at 60. So that wasn't going to be a lucrative enough business model for me. So I told my daughter, I said, you know what? If I was going to do this for other people, let me do it for me. Follow the same thing I would teach other people. I said, I'm going to put my theory to the test. It has to be something you love. And at that point, she wanted me to get into crocheting because I love to crochet dresses for my daughter. And she had a crochet blog. She would do YouTubes, right? And I started that, and I started my little channel with that. And then I realized, who wants to have to crochet every day? I do it because it's fun, because I want to. I don't want to. Hey, Anna Rihanna, she just joined us. I don't want to have to come up with a new pattern, to have to do a video every week. I said, you know what? If I was going to create something, I would do a YouTube channel talking about my soaps. And she was like, Mom, that's not going to do very well. I mean, people are into reality TV. I said, no, your age group is in reality
Right,
TV.
the younger ones. Yep, the young ones.
She's 30. She'll be 33 this year. I said,
Yes,
I'm not
ma'am.
into reality. Is soap operas, but people doing it unscripted. Wait, really? They say it's unscripted, but it's scripted. It's like, look, we going into this restaurant, and Jennifer, you're going to pick a fight with Susan. Oh, it's scripted, right? They just don't have to act. They act horribly bad.
You know what? I graduated. I did film and media for my when I was in undergrad, and then I graduated during the recession. So like everything, there wasn't a lot of scripted TV in New York, so I ended up doing like a lot of reality TV. But as soon as I could, I left it to go into journalism because I just couldn't stand it. I'm not that big into reality TV. Like the only show that I ever really liked was The Mole, like the original one with Anderson Cooper. So that was actually interesting, kind of like understand people's different backgrounds and see how they would like betray each other for stuff. But yeah, I'm not the biggest reality TV person.
And my whole thing is, how in the heck do you feel competing with 20 women for a stinking rose from a guy that's going to kiss every one of them?
The Bachelor,
And you think you're going to find real love. See, I cannot get into nothing like that. But at least with the soaps, there's some sort of story they're trying to tell. Like, I don't know where they're going with the whole Marshall storyline. Why was he misdiagnosed with schizophrenia? Right. I mean, I don't really want it to turn into a racial thing. I just don't want it to turn into that. I want it to end up being based upon the testing equipment they had at that time. That was the conclusion that they came up with, no matter how wrong it was. I mean, there's things that it's like, don't take me down that rabbit hole. As it is, they tidied up the Hook killings. Man, I didn't like the way yes, it was Heather, but for one, it took too long. And then they just, to me, tidied it up in a nice bow and said it was Heather. Okay. And then
I'm 50-50 with it. My mom is a nurse. But so like I understand like the Black healthcare thing, because on the one hand, Black people do get misdiagnosed, and they're, even in textbooks, like the old textbooks from like way back when, they still have sometimes they recycle those books and they only update it partially, so there's still incorrect information that people are learning when it comes to how Black people react to medicines and stuff like that. And there's also the bigger problem with especially when it comes to medication, the test samples for medications are 60-year-old white men. So if you're a woman, if you're someone from a different background or ethnicity, race, if you're a younger person, these medications aren't made for you. So you're taking medication like Tylenol or whatever, and it's not with you in mind. It's for someone that's a 60-year-old white man. That's the test sampling. So I do get why if they do go a racial route with it, but I also understand if they went with just a mental health route, because the studies on mental health have just changed so much, and the language around it and the way that people will even talk about it or tackle it. I think that's really interesting, that aspect of it. So to see where that goes, like recently I was just reading about, I think yesterday they mentioned that they might have a cure for sickle cell disease on the horizon. But it's expensive, but if you do have the money for it, there might be a cure for a disease that was considered only a Black person's disease, even though it's a disease that affects people around the world. So I am interested in seeing how they tackle I think they have interesting storylines at GH, but sometimes it's the execution. So I'm wondering how they execute it.
They do execute them badly. Richard, what are your feelings on maybe drop the ball storylines? So we got some great comments going up live on YouTube. People finding it, they're liking what we're talking about, So Richard, what are your dropped storylines? Give me a drop storyline.
I think the Willow whole story is dropped. They took too long, they dragged it out, and it's like, really? And then, it's the way, too long. That whole Willow storyline.
Exactly. Now, NK Rose, I want to come back to, I told you, remind me, you forgot to remind me about the sexual harassment Brooklyn storyline. What I don't like is Brooklyn is perpetuating and going along with the sexual harassment when that was her main reason for running to her daddy when she first came back to town, and she wanted Alan to help her get her stuff back from Lincoln. He would, Ned.
Ned.
Right? So now for Link to say, you're gonna sign this NDA, and then you're actually going to, in public, support me, and I'll give you your stuff back. For them to even have, yes, she's Brooklyn, but she's a woman. And she knows what he made her and still makes her feel like. To have them write her to have her go along with that, I don't agree with it.
I don't even understand it, because this was like her. I don't understand how this storyline managed to go from not even really being about her to being about Chase in the first place. I feel like they don't know what to do with Chase's character when he's not a cop.
Yes,
so I agree. They're making him lead it. I love the actor, but I just don't understand how she's barely even in that storyline sometimes, or sometimes she's not even the one interacting with what's going on. It's mostly Chase interacting with Blaze, who's a new character, and then with Link. And then and I feel like Chase brings up what's going on in the storyline more than she does too. And she's just kind of like just there. I don't know if it's like, I know she's a new mom because I feel like she took a break for a while. So I don't know if it's a scheduling thing. Well, it feels like they don't even center her in her. That was like her main storyline since she got back. So I don't understand how this is about Chase trying to become a cop, and then
I think the problem with General Hospital is it's General Hospital. It's not called Port Charles PD, PCPD. Okay, we don't have enough stories for cops on General Hospital. Chase should not be a cop. He needs to be in the hospital doing something.
Yes, that's another thing. Like, I don't understand why they just don't put him in security. I mean, he's an okay singer, but not enough where I feel like of the singers on the show, he's not the strongest.
Yes.
Or at least the songs they've given him or the outfits they had him wear, I don't know why they think that's stylish, but it's not doing it for me. I don't know who's sang. There was someone that did a song. William Lipton. He's a singer. If they were to do a storyline about singers, he has a band that's like really popping off. I think they're like
who's William Lipton
and everything.
Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah, Cameron's character. If they were to do a singing, like his last song that he sang on the show, I loved it. I looked up the song and watched a music video, the whole 9 yards. So if they were to do a song surrounding a singer, a storyline, he's the perfect person. So
Valentine Cassadine can blow everybody away. That man is a singer and a piano player. But again, this is not called nightclub in Port Charles. Where General Hospital is messing up.
Yeah,
they've tried to branch too far away from the hospital, and we don't have enough true. Tell me, like, let's name the doctors What doctors' lives are we dealt with? We're dealing with Portia,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Finn,
Finn. Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth's the nurse.
Right.
What other doctor are
No.
we dealing with that's bringing us back to General Hospital? Britt's dead.
Yeah.
And you know what's sad to me? Epiphany. They
Oh,
they dragged her storyline so long, and then unfortunately she passed away before we even got to
Yes.
see it come to fruition. So that
Yeah.
killed me. Because I was like, because it was like months between when she took the test and when
Yes.
she
Yes.
supposedly got the grades. And it would have been lovely
Dragon,
to have
dragon,
seen
dragon,
that
dragon.
played
Yes.
out. And
Yes.
especially how she dealt with, Black people trying to enter the
Yes.
medical field during her time. So I would have loved to have seen her, succeed and, graduate from the program. That would have been, or go into the program in the first place. And then,
Yeah.
they
So-
dragged it so long.
They did.
And of course, she passed away. So it's
Yeah.
like, we'll never really get to see that.
How are they going to do? I'm wondering how are they going to do her. They're going to highlight her. They're going to do a kind of like celebration on her. Somebody said March 29th, maybe they're going to do that. I'd like to know how they're going to do that. Now, Richard.
I'm guessing the nurses'
Yeah.
ball, because April is usually when the nurses' ball
Yeah.
is. So if
April
it's March
3rd.
29th, it's going to be probably several days of the nurses' ball.
Yeah, might be. Now, Richard, do you have to leave us within the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or are you cool?
No,
Because Michael, who's a very strong commenter, he sent in a video because he had to go to a funeral. So I want to play Michael's video so that we all can hear what he has to say. And then we'll come back and we'll wrap up our conversation. But I'm so happy you two are here. We've got so many people commenting now on the chat. Let me go to my share screen and share sound. And let's see if we could play this. Can you see the video?
yes, I see him.
Hello, Daily Recap lady. Hello, Daily Recap fans. I'm just coming to you today to celebrate our channel, making 1,000 subscribers. I'm so proud of you, Daily Recap lady, and the job that you do. I'm so sorry I could not make it today. I had to attend a funeral, but things like this happen. So I will try to make this thing short because I know you got a panel that you're trying to make a panel discussion, and this is going to be like a little thing you're going to probably insert in the particular program. Okay, well, my name's Michael Armstrong. I'm 49 years old. I'll be 50 the 27th of May. So, I've been watching soap since I was around about 5 years old or younger. I had an aunt, my late Aunt Dorothy, and we called her Aunt Dot affectionately. She looked at soaps. She looked at the ABC soaps and the NBC soaps in particular. So I looked at General Hospital, One Life to Live, All My Children. We looked at Days of Our Lives, Another World, Search for Tomorrow, from way back when, Edge of Night from way back when as well. So and she didn't really look at the CBS soaps, so much in my lifetime. I think she had it at some point back maybe in the 60s or 50s or something, because my aunt was a little older. But in any event, I'm going to get down to it, and I'm going to talk about what I do like about this show. What I like about this particular channel is the fact that we get the chance to discuss our soap, and we all, have different opinions with different fans of different characters, but it's like we're sitting around as, fans, just discussing it, just talking about the plots. A lot of times we agree on a lot of the finer points of the show that, where improvement is needed. Me, as being someone who looked at the show since the 70s, I see a lot of continuity issues with the show where they don't stick to the history as much as they should, and they hope that so many new people have been put in place that they've forgotten the old plot points of the show. And sometimes I have a problem with that. But other than that, I like the show. Even when the writing is a little bit, weird, a little bit janky, a little bit crappy in some cases. But I like, the show, and I've always been a big fan of the show. Now, I was asked about the super couples. Everybody liked Luke and Laura. Luke and Laura was a fairy tale couple. However, there was some problematic things with Luke and Laura. Go back to the history of Luke and Laura. What happened at the disco. We won't say it because I know YouTube has rules, but that kind of put like a bad I guess, impression about romance and love, that you could overcome something like that. Um, I don't know. Is that looking back on it, it didn't age well. So that's why I guess they did not let Luke and Lara stay together as a couple as the show progressed. Um, but my favorite, one of my favorite couples was a little well known couple. It was Cecilia and Grant, and Cecilia Quartermain, Grant Putnam, later Grant Andrews. It was Cecilia Quartermain was the granddaughter of Herbert Quartermain, which was Edward Quartermain's first cousin. So Cecilia's of course, come to Port Charles to visit her relatives in Port Charles, New York. She was engaged to Grant Putnam, which was a guy she was already engaged to. But we find out that Grant Putnam was a Russian spy, along with another lady named, I want to say it was Natasha. And Natasha was she was a physical therapist that helped Luke Spencer when he almost died in an avalanche. So that's, long story short, this couple, even though he was a spy, they had fell in love with each other. So even though he was supposed to be a doctor and all of that, and I think he had trained to be a doctor so he could do his spy thing as a Russian spy. But they fell in love, decided to stay together, married for a while. He changed his name from Putnam to Andrew because there was an actual Grant Putnam that came to town that that the Scott Will took back over his role as being Grant, and it was really but it's a long story. Some of you guys who've been looking at the show for a long time will probably know it, but that was one of my favorite couples, Grant and Cecilia. And but later Cecilia ended up leaving Grant. She got with Jimmy Lee Holt. I believe they got married for a little while. It didn't last long before he ended up divorcing her and marrying Charity, and of course moving to Pato. But in any event, to make a longer story even shorter, the current couple on site that I like the best, it's kind of hard to even say, because it's I think Molly and TJ are probably one of the better couples that are been enduring, and even though their story is a little boring probably, but I like them. They're interracial couple, so that's kind of a little different, what I'm saying, than what we are actually uh, than we see all the time. Now that we're starting to see it more and more. Also, um, I like who else? Who else? Um, I guess I like to Luke and Tracy, even though Luke is presumably dead. I like their little dynamic. I mean, it had to grow on me because it wasn't something that it was like a unlikely couple, but I did like them as well. Now you're saying why I'm not obviously saying one of my favorite female characters in her guy. Why don't I say that like them as a couple? Okay, Sunny and Nina is growing on me. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't necessarily think they were necessarily a good match. I think they do have chemistry, but because of the way they met and some of the challenges they have is, and then with Sunny's history of, just a string of women, it's kind of hard to say whether or not they're going to actually stay together. So, until they go to distance, I'm kind of like, they're an okay couple. I don't dislike them as much as Carly fans dislike them. But in my favorite characters, I guess I would say, of course, Nina's a favorite character, female, and Curtis is a favorite character, male. Now I know they're disliked by a lot of people because of their either instability mentally, in the case of Nina, and then in the case of Curtis, he is considered to be a hypocrite in some ways. But I don't know. They seem kind of human to me. They seem like that's kind of the people that you actually meet in the world. They are flawed. They have issues, but the core of them, what is that like? And the core of Nina, in my opinion, is good. She's a good, sweet person. You know what I'm saying? She has a lot of challenges, a lot of issues, and yes, she does need to get some therapy. I will agree to that. But but so does half of the cast on the show.
Yes.
Michael and Willow. Michael and Willow is a sweet couple, kind of like
Uh,
I guess a modern day version of possibly Edward and Lila. I guess
no,
that's the
no,
Edward and Lila 2.0.
no, because Michael is a piece of
And then
shit.
of course I love the Quartermains. That's probably why I have this love hate relationship with Carly. when Carly gotten pregnant by AJ, and then of course they said it was Jason's. Um, she denied him from being with the Quartermains, and then she in turns get married to a mobster and putting him in even more danger. I was wondering. I'm like, to me, it's like, why would she put him in danger with the mob? And then this rich, wealthy family, which is, they got their own issues. I'm not saying that. Why would you not, deny him from being a part of his wealthy family? Well, I probably have talked way too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this now. I want to say congratulations again on 1,000 subscribers. I am so proud of you, and I feel like I know you. Feel like you're my big sister or my very young auntie or whatever how you want to put it. But I am so proud of what you've done and the way you entertain us every day with your commentary about the soap, and the way you interact honestly about how you feel about the certain characters and your impressions, of course, the Holly impression.
Yes.
I don't know if you've done it.
The
Try to do it
impressions.
if you haven't. Now the Lucy impression, the Elizabeth impression. I can go on and on. But you are very talented. You are very creative, and if you could get on with the writing staff of General Hospital, they would be for sure stay on another 10, 15, 20 years, no problem winning several daytime Emmys. So, and that's not just for you. I would say that for a lot of our listeners, and people that's in this part of our channel, they are very talented as well when it comes to writing and coming up with creative ideas and themes, for the show. Because, like I said, my biggest pet peeve is continuity issues. So okay. So to answer the question, late 70s is when I started watching the show. My favorite couple from yesteryear is Cecilia Quartermain and Grant Putnam / Andrew. Current couple would probably be TJ and Molly, even though he's probably boring. Michael and Willow, somewhat, give or take which day it is. Favorite characters are Curtis, Nina. Sonny's growing on me, even though I got a love-hate relationship with Carly. But I love Laura Wright's depiction of Carly, so I will say that. And I love Cynthia Watros' depiction of Nina. No, nothing wrong with Michelle Stafford. Nothing wrong with some of the other women from yesteryear when it came to the Carly. But those two, in my opinion, are the best, at that what they do. And I'm gonna wrap it up here so you guys can get back to your regular scheduled program. And again,
Nice.
congratulations.
Nice.
So
That
I'm
was nice.
so happy he sent that in to me. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna make sure I'm still on YouTube over here. I want to get off of it. Whoa, hey. Hey, let me get rid of that. There we go. I'm back. So happy he had points. I'm getting feedback here. That's from, I think that's on your end, Richard.
Oh boy, hold on.
There we go. All right. So Michael, Michael sent that in, and I wanted to make sure I played it because he didn't get a chance to interact with us. We've got some great comments. Thank you so much, everybody commenting live, but I'm not going to do a comment corner because, we're almost ready to wrap this up, but I want to finish saying why I do the daily recaps the way I do them. People tend to think things have to be perfect. And if it's one thing, my daughter said, Mom, how are you going to do it? Are you going to, she wanted me to kind of critique how I was going to do the daily recaps. And I'm going to just be me. I'm going to just be me. Things are not perfect. When we're watching them soaps, we're watching them. Oh, where's this feedback coming from? There we go. When we're watching our soap operas, we're watching them sick. Life happens. We have to pause. We have to go do things. I mean, you all see my poor 15-year-old dog. She was really horrible with her clearing her throat. You notice she's a little bit better, but in reality, she's not really better. She just turned 15 last week. We'll probably only got another few weeks with her, So, but that's life. you know? So I wanted to make jokes because when we're watching our soaps, don't we just talk to the TV?
Yeah.
Don't be like, why would you do that, you idiot? You know? And I wanted to just do it that way. Because here's the thing, when you're reinventing yourself, you have to pick something because you have a choice. Something you're going to enjoy doing every day. I enjoy General Hospital. And I think you have a picture, Michael. Oh, yeah. I enjoy watching General Hospital and The Young and the Restless every day. And I'm happy I have you all, the Daily Recap fans, to talk to every day about it. And that's why I chose to do it this way. That's why I wear the exact same thing. I've mentioned it because otherwise people get into what's wrong with her hair today? Well, I don't like that color on her. Well, you know, you get into now critiquing the host versus dealing with what the message I'm trying to put out. So this way, you know, this is what I'm going to be. You're going to see me in this. So now that takes that off the table, right? So Michael, Richard, unmute yourself, give us some parting words. And then
Well, congratulations, like Michael said, and great job. Keep doing your thing. As always, comment and push forward.
thank you so much. NK Rose.
Congratulations. Looking forward to you getting like another 1,000, if not more, subscribers, and congrats on everything you've done so far.
Excellent. And for you YouTubers, you may be falling into this live stream. You know, I always go by Daily Recap Lady. Yes, I have a name. But see, once again, I kind of, when I broke into it, I said, I'm a traditional business owner. I do a lot of things. And I'm not using this channel to promote any of my other businesses, which is why it was important to me to come up with a persona and just the name to just be Daily Recap Lady. You know, just be that. Because let's face it, I have said my name. I mean, I really have. You could Google it. I mean, people are going to find you when they want to find you, but I want them to just find the Daily Recap Lady. So that's why I do this. So thank you so much, everybody. And I did go to you, NK Rose, right?
Oh, yes.
You said your goodbye. All right, look, because let me tell you something. I haven't eaten. I'm hungry. All right, I'm getting ready to, everybody who's a YNR fan, Young and the Restless, in 1 hour from now, I'm going to be doing a live stream on the Young and the Restless. Now with the Young and the Restless, it has a much smaller audience. So I really believe the majority of my people will be chiming on YouTube. I don't think I have anyone coming on board for a panel. So I'm so happy that you all, NK Rose, Richard, and Michael, people that comment, I'm happy you were able to come in and just talk to me, because look, we actually got into some chat, and doesn't it feel like we could talk for another hour?
Oh yeah, I have a feeling about the whole Nixon Falls thing. I don't think Nina changed him. I think he's had Stockholm syndrome and needs to go to therapy. But I think about Sonny and Nina.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I think so too. I mean, there's something there that when he finally clicks, because we start seeing glimpses of Sonny. When he finally clicks with his because you know, who's to say all his memories are truly back? Or his memories might be back, but his feelings aren't back. The heart hasn't connected those memories that he had with the heart. Because
I truly believe it's transference, because he was thinking about a blonde woman, which is Carly. And then here comes Nina, he knows he's familiar with, but he doesn't quite know how. And then she takes advantage of that. So I don't think it was Nina that changed him. Nixon Falls changed him because he living a lighter life where he didn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder with the mob or anything. But I think it really has more to his relationship with her has to do with his mental health. Because he
Well,
also was going through a period of not being on his bipolar medication. So the
yeah.
combination of those two things, I think that and then what's happening in the current storyline is going to ultimately result
Well,
in that relationship ending.
and look, we were ending, but look, we started talking again. Listen, with Nina, we've all seen Sonny in his relationships with various different women, right? Sonny, his natural Sonny character, you almost think he's going to hit a woman, but he doesn't. When he's pissed off at them, Sonny goes berserk, right? Whether it was Brenda, whether it was Carly, whether, you know, he hasn't truly gone berserko on Nina yet. Okay. And she won't be able to handle that. I mean, he's even gone when he was really off his medications with Carly, berserko on her, you know, but she was trained to see the signs, right? Because she had to. Otherwise, he gets dangerous, right? And Nina is not going to be able to handle that Sonny. That Sonny to where you see in his eyes, you know what, this man looks like he wants to kill me. Not that he's ever been violent to a woman like that, although he would shoot Miss Wu, because he's not looking at Selena Wu as a woman. He's looking at her as a mob boss. She is a mob boss, right? And if she challenges him, he's got to get her taken out or him. Oh, speaking of which, real quick before we go, who do you think the sniper was aiming for when Sonny led Dex into that warehouse?
I think it's a training setup by Sonny to see how Dex would react in a real situation.
Okay, you're muted, Richard. Unmute yourself and you say what you wanted to say.
I agree with Anki. I think Sonny set up the whole scenario. Yes.
Okay, so you see, I went, let me mute you back. I went more, so Sonny trying to have him killed, but Sonny never tries to have you killed. He just has you abducted. Really, you know.
Yeah, he wouldn't put himself with Dex.
Yes.
Like where you can see him on camera walking with him in there. I think it's a setup just to see how he would react in a real situation.
Okay, you know what? That might be it, y'all. That might be it. All right, everybody, listen, keep watching. I love you. I need your comments. You know, I need everybody, even on YouTube Live. I need your daily recap comments. And look, I'm just gonna say this. If I don't understand your comment, I'm not reading it. Y'all know what I mean. You read some of those comments that are put there, and I'm like, what's that? What are you talking about? You know, so anyway, but I could do this for another 10, 15 years, because for as long as General Hospital is going to be on the air, I will be doing the daily, well, I mean, God forbid I get sick, but you know what I mean, right? I will be doing the daily recaps as long as that show is on the air. And one day I want to be at the soap opera, are they the soap opera awards or are they the daytime Emmys? The daytime Emmys on the red carpet. And they say, here's daily recap, lady. And then I'll talk to the characters. No. All right, everybody, have a great time. Thank you so much for joining me, and you'll see me back on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye. Enjoy the weekend.
Let's see, how do I end the stream?